Damn, it's a little gloomy outside, so I thought I would look a little rough, but I gotta say this iPhone 16 has been looking fresh in here. You guys like my little bucket hat? Thank you. Happy Happy New Year to everybody. You know, trying this is a pretty new lavalier mic, so I'm sorry if there's a little bit of rubbing. I'm trying to get everything out the way. I'm still new to this live streaming shit. And I just never, the problem with it is like I can't even, I can't really wear headphones to hear how good it sounds. So I'm a little fucked up. Yo, just so you know, if you haven't read the description, we are down in Union Square right now, and I'm walking all the way to Chinatown. How you feeling right now? I hope you guys are warm, because I am not. It is fucking cold out here. I thought it was gonna be a little bit nicer today, but definitely not. I just got off the train too, and there's a lot of things I want to talk about for this year. But I just got off the train, and I gotta say, man, the homeless problem is crazy. That shit is fucking crazy. I was just on the subway, bro, and it was really nuts. Like, it was really nuts. There was a homeless person in like 3 different cars that I was on. Like 3 different cars. This shit was crazy, bro. And not only that, they smelled terrible. Like, it was really, really bad. And yeah, it was crazy, bro. And listen, I'm not saying that as some rich asshole or something. You know what I mean? I've been living in New York for like 15 years now. It's the only place I've ever lived as an adult. First moved to Flatbush, then to Crown Heights, then to Spanish Harlem, then to Bushwick. Now I'm in Astoria. I've been all over the place, and I've never been rich here either. So, me saying this is not to be like I'm better than nobody. Obviously, these people are just looking for some place to be warm at. But that being said, the cars smelled like shit. It was terrible. It was fucking terrible. It was like so bad. It was like mind-numbingly stinky, dog. Like, it was so fucking. This homeless problem has gotten crazy, and it really kind of started with all the COVID shit. You feel me? That's when once the COVID shit hit, and they let all the mentally ill people out of the mental hospitals because of just random ass regulations. COVID, social distancing. Nobody wants to do it. Hey, Kayla, how you doing? Good to see you. Glad you joining us. We're having a fun day. I'm actually walking all the way to Chinatown and everything today. We're gonna talk about Joe Budden and his freakiness. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. We're gonna talk about Joe Budden and his freakiness. But I got a couple things I want to discuss first. And somebody's from Prague. What up, yo? I'm going back to Prague. I'm going back to Prague in the spring. I love your city. Prague is one of the illest places that I've ever been to. I kind of call it, for people who've never been to Prague before, I call Prague like Europe's Colombia, if that makes sense. Like, everything there is dirt cheap as an American. The people are lovely. The women are beautiful out there. The architecture is incredible, like really, really nice. Like, I'm from New York, as you can see, and there's actually a lot of beautiful architecture here too, but I feel like our architecture is kind of modeled after the European style, which is what you see in Prague in spades. Like, they don't just do it European style, it's like Gothic. So it's like really dope. Like, there's nothing better than having an amazing beer that only costs like 50 cents in American dollars. You're sipping on it, you're looking at some crazy Gothic church that probably has some like weird dark past to it. And then just seeing beautiful women walk by. Happy New Year to you two, all the way from England, UK, man. I was recently in London too as well, man. I'm Jamaican, so Jamaicans is everywhere. That's just how we do. So, wagwan. Happy to see you out here, man, and happy to see the support. You know, to all the people too who want to like do streaming, this is why I tell people to stream more and more, and not even with streaming, just anything you love, anything that you're passionate about, bro. Do what you do, because last stream that I had, I literally had like two people. Okay, I had two motherfuckers out here, and I was still doing my show, still not giving a fuck. This stream, 20 people came in. Now it's down to 7. Then it's back up to 19, 20. You got to just do what you do and let people find out how great you are in their time. It's not about them. It's about what you like doing as a, you know, as a real person out here. Hey, saying Jamaicans don't have a good reputation. We have an amazing reputation. You know, we got some great music, great food. What's up, man? We got great music, great food, man. You know, we're good looking as well, too. What you want? We got great beaches. The scenery is amazing out there. I'm actually heading out to Jamaica in a few weeks. I'm going to be there in 2 weeks to see some family and kind of hang out. I'm going to be hiking to the peak of Blue Mountain. And I'm actually going to be live streaming out there, too. So when I drop that shit, you guys better tune in, bro. You better tune in. But I'm happy to see everybody out here, man. There's a couple things I wanted to talk about. It is the new year, January 1st, 2025. Happy New Year to everybody out there. And of course, since it's New Year, me as a rap fan, of course, had to listen to Uncle Murder's The Wrap Up. Crazy, crazy shit, crazy. Amazing, man. That dude, shout out to Uncle Murder real quick. Anybody who listens to hip hop, who's deep in that shit, knows about Uncle Murder. He needs a little bit more recognition, I feel. You know, he hangs over 50 and shit, but Uncle Murder has been doing the wrap up for years, and I feel like now it's finally really picking up steam. That shit was 20 minutes too, bro. I'm not gonna lie, like I was making myself a meal while listening to that shit, bro. This shit is so fucking long, but I love it. You know, look how beautiful this shit is out here too. You know, something about just New York streets, man. Something about, you know, how incredible this city is. Like I said, I've been in this city for 15 years, bro. 15 years, my nigga. Okay? And there's a lot of ups and downs with it. Not everything's great. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sit here and be like, you know, New York is the best place in the world. You know, to me, it is actually the best city. But, you know, I'm realistic about where we're at as people. That being said, on a beautiful night like this, or day, whatever the fuck, look at this shit. Look at the sunset. You know? Take that in. I almost busted my ass there. You see the things I do for you people? I'm out here getting injured to give you guys a good live stream. You know? But yeah, man, I just get consumed by the city. This is why I want to do these walking talks and shit. Because I feel like everybody else just does their random ass like live streams and shit. You know, you got academics and all that stuff. You got Cash and that. And like, obviously there's IRL streamers, but all they do is just cause trouble for random people. You feel me? Like, they're not out here actually experiencing things, trying to show people different shit. Like, you got this big building. I believe this is a part of NYU, like housing and shit. They even have a Steve Kuntz sculpture around the corner. Fuck it, I don't really got nothing to do. I'm going to get Chinese food in Chinatown. We will get there. We will get there. And we will talk about Joe Budden. But I want to show you guys some of this stuff because, you know, obviously everybody here, you know, watching loves hip hop. Usually that's why they're watching my channel. But people love travel too. People want to see these things. They want to, you know, take in what the city looks like, you know, and just enjoy themselves. I mean, look at that. We got a CVS. You don't get a CVS anywhere else. Okay? We're American special. New York is special. We have a CVS. Let's see if they still have this Kuntz. You know, he is, yeah, there we go. I believe, yeah, Jeff Kuntz is. I called him Steve Kuntz. Jeff Kuntz is a very, very famous artist. And he's famous for doing sculptures like this that are basically like almost like balloon animal type stuff. But they're, I believe, made out of like metal, very thin metal, and maybe even like aluminum. And they've kind of fucking taken off. Like people love this shit. And it's interesting because I gotta give credit to people like that, man, because it's hard to come up in the art world. The comedy world is hard enough, but like being like just like a painter or a sculptor or some shit, bro, those people only get popular like once every fucking 50 years. You feel me? Like I know Jeff Koons and I know Leonardo da Vinci. That like that's it. That's like hundreds of years of dudes busting their ass and the regular type of person in the world not knowing who they are, So shout out to Jeff Koons, man. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about everything, man. Obviously, the year was being wrapped up out here. Shout out to Uncle Murder. That dude, man, I will say, I feel like he's one of those people who, like, when he raps, he really does talk about anything. He put himself in a perfect lane where he can kind of just go in because people love the wrap up. So they kind of have to put their animosity aside, For people who don't know what the wrap up is, I think most of you do, but if you don't, basically there's a guy named Uncle Murder. I believe he's from East New York. He's a great rapper. He hangs out with 50 Cent and all that shit. They tour together. I'm taking you guys through Cooper Triangle right now. Look at that. It's a very small park. I think this might be the smallest park in New York City. But I'm taking you to all the little, the little fancy touristy spots, I like showing you guys the places that you can go for free to not spend shit. Because New York is extremely expensive, but at the same time, it's actually not as expensive as people think. The most expensive thing is just renting shit and and just like, renting an apartment. But once you get here, aside from going out and like drinking, the parks and all that shit, tons of shit is free, bro. Especially during the summer, you can always get shit for free. Plus, with New York, New York is it's perfect for having fun, but it's even better for business and just like building relationships and networking with people. And so, the longer you live here, whatever your thing is, maybe it's music, maybe it's painting, maybe it's construction, being a contractor, maybe it's any of that shit. No matter what, if you live here long enough, you can find people that are in that same thing and you can figure out side hustles to do shit. I've had a million jobs in New York City and like, yeah, sure, I'm still broke, but I've always been able to figure things out, so if there's anybody out here who is thinking about going to New York City, but is always like, oh man, how can I ever make it there? That shit is crazy. The people who go there, I just don't know how they survive. Bro, it's actually easier than you think. It's as hard as you think, but it's easier than you think. You just gotta be willing to grind and just not be into shining. I think that's why too, like New York City is a little different. You go to other cities, especially places like Atlanta, where it's that like kind of fake it till you make it vibes. Everybody acting like they got shit, but they don't have nothing. Like in New York, when you don't have nothing, you really don't have nothing. But you want something so bad that you find different people to help you get it. Does that make sense? So it's just a different vibe out here. If you're ready to work, for sure come out here, man. But back to what I was saying about Uncle Murder, man. I was saying I admire him because, hip hop is such a sensitive art form. It's so sensitive. People are sensitive as fuck all the time. But he's carved out this weird little lane for himself where he can say anything he wants to say. And like, if you're upset with it, you're kind of corny. You know what I mean? Which is a great thing. Like he kind of became like the first like roast comedian rapper, where it's like, because in hip hop, usually you talk shit, everybody's ready to fight or they're ready to put out a diss track or something, But in comedy, it's kind of similar actually, but at the same time, if somebody's a roast comic, you kind of just have to take that, kind of just have to deal with that, And I feel like Uncle Murder has kind of put himself in that position. Like if I ever saw a rapper make a diss track for Uncle Murder for doing the wrap up or something, I'd be like, yo, this nigga's corny, bro. Like, just take the joke. Just take your lumps, bro. It's fine. Act better next year, you know? But, you know, that's one of those things, because I feel like in the art world, things just get so tough and people just get so sensitive. So when you meet somebody or you even just see somebody's work where they're allowed to be themselves unapologetically, yet still be in with everybody, it's like, damn, that's kind of admirable, man. So shout out to Uncle Murder, man, for the wrap up. But let's get to this Joe Budden talk, bro. What the fuck is with this nigga, man? What is up with this dude? You know, for those of you who have not heard about Joe Budden, about Joseph Anthony Budden, I don't know if his middle name's Anthony. I'm just kind of saying shit because it sounds dramatic and it sounds better. But for those who don't know about Joe Budden, he is a pretty good rapper who has had the song Pump It Up. Obviously, that was his biggest hit. It actually just went gold last year, I believe. And since hip-hop, he's transitioned into podcasting. His podcast is one of the largest hip-hop podcasts in history, pretty much, in all of podcasting. I think his podcast is the biggest by far, actually. Like, he's the Joe Rogan of hip-hop podcasting. You know, I don't know what it is about being named Joe, but apparently if your name is Joe and you have a podcast, you're going to be famous. That's just how it goes. And he's been killing it, man. He's somebody who I don't always agree with, but his stuff is very, very entertaining. You know, and I get where he comes from. And it's also nice to see a media person who used to be a rapper. You know, hip hop has always had this vibe sometimes when it comes to media where, like, the media will treat rappers with like kid gloves. You know, hip hop media will, you know, and it's super fucking lame. And so, like, when you had people like DJ Academics and DJ Vlad kind of come into the game, it made things a lot better because, you know, now you have people who are asking the real questions that people want to know. Like, because before that, you know, of course you had Charlemagne, but aside from Charlemagne, bro, like, you know, these personalities were just guys who wanted to be liked by rappers. So they never really asked tough questions. They never really asked real questions. And, you know, obviously in the culture, like, really getting personal with somebody is kind of, I won't say looked down upon, but it's looked at cautiously. Because a lot of these dudes, they have priors. They used to live a certain life that, you know, hopefully none of them live anymore. And so when they have these tough questions, you know, they get a little cagey. They get a little like, you know, what the fuck are you asking me type shit, you know? But I feel like this new kind of trend of different people has really, of different media personalities willing to kind of go there, say what they got to say, has really helped out hip hop, especially because, like, you know, I was thinking about this the other day, man, like, no, there is no other music genre, I don't think, that has the amount of, like, I don't want to call it gossip, but like media interest in the way that, like, all right, so hip hop has like people like fucking DJ Academic, DJ Vlad, Say Cheese, Art of Dialogue, a million people interviewing a million rappers, whether they're relevant or irrelevant. It don't matter. They're interviewing them. You feel me? But it's like they don't really have that with like rock, really, or country. I mean, maybe they do, but, you know, I listen to enough different types of music that I would think some of that would slip into my algorithm. Like, if there was a DJ Vlad of indie rock, I would think that that guy would be somewhere in my YouTube algorithm, but he's not. I'm gonna try to get this. So, hold on. We got 3 seconds till that light comes, boy. But you know, you don't really have that, but hip hop seems to, and I think all these guys like Joe Budden, like Vlad, like Say Cheese, Art of Dialogue, anyone you can think of, anyone you can name, fuck it, me. I'm not there yet, but I'm trying to get there. I think these types of people have been what is keeping hip hop relevant for the last 5, maybe 10 years. Hip hop. I just made a new video called Kendrick Lamar, America's #1 pop star, with with a thumbnail that is way out of pocket. I'm not even gonna lie, this shit is out of pocket. But I gotta get you in there somehow. But I made that. But I was talking about how how hip hop has its ups and downs right now, and it's going through a lot. And I think these people are the ones keeping the interest going through, making things about beef, or not even that, just starting different narratives. I mean, you care about these people. They are what makes hip hop almost become a sport in itself. You feel me? Like, sure, you used to have people like, what's that dude's name? I think it's Special Ed, the dude from Yo MTV Raps and stuff. And you always have people. Sway, of course, Sway's always been there. But you guys know what I mean. There's a different wave of media coming in right now. So I say that to say this. To see Joe Budden fuck all that up with weirdo antics is crazy to me. Because the first time that he was, the first time he was let into hip hop, being a rapper, he failed. Most people don't really get a second chance. In fact, he's kind of gotten like a third chance, because I believe he's done like different media stuff for years and it never really took off. And even the podcast, it was doing well by like regular person standards, but for celebrity podcast standards, I don't think that podcast was doing well until he pretty much got rid of like Rory and Mal, like right before that. I know he had the Spotify deal and shit, and that's big money. But at the same time, where he is now and where he was then is two completely different places. And Joe Budden, he's an interesting guy, man. I like a lot about him. I think he, definitely is jealous of a lot of people. He's definitely very resentful of a lot of things, no matter how much he pretends that he's not. That's why he hates a lot of like younger, new style rappers and shit like that. He always shits on Logic and stuff. He shits on Drake. But even past that, people like Yachty and fucking any new person who is quote unquote a mumble rapper, which I don't believe a lot of these guys are. But anybody who's like kind of new, who isn't someone like Corday, he just immediately just like dog walks, And I think a lot of it is because, if you know Joe's work, especially stuff like mood music and stuff like that, a lot of his work was very personal, very real, very open. And back in the day, that shit was not cool. Like to be a person, like really saying some real shit about how you fucked up with a woman or anything, that shit was not cool. And Joe had to pay the price of not being marketable at all, But now it's pretty much like since, ever since Kanye dropped like 808 and Heartbreak, and then, Kid Cudi came out, and then Drake came out, that's when everything kind of started shifting away from that, and you were allowed to be that type of person. And I think he's just really upset about it. I think he sees a lot of these rappers nowadays doing the McDonald's version of what he used to do. Also, look at this shit. Cat's Deli, bro. This shit, but there's like 80 niggas lined up for this shit. It's a fire sandwich. Get ready. It's going to be good. It should be cheaper, though. But yeah, back to Joe Budden. I think he sees a lot of people doing the McDonald's version of what he used to do. Being real, being personal, and how it's marketed now. And it upsets him. And I think he thinks to himself, man, if I was one of these 20-year-old niggas, if I was born in 97 and I came out doing my same music from all those old albums, I would wipe the floor with these niggas. I don't respect them. And that's why he acts that way. He looks down on Logic because he's like, bro, I'm a light-skinned nigga too. And I rap better than you. You know what I mean? And I talk about deeper shit than you talk about. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think that's exactly what he thinks. With Drake, I think he has a different vibe where it's the same thing as with Logic, but I think he also does realize that Drake is talented. And I think there's a little bit of that too. Like, damn, this would have been like, I should be competing with this man. You know, like if we both came out at the same time, we would have been competitors. And now I'm just here talking about him doing Bryant Gumbel play-by-play. And I don't like that, you know? But, you know, Joe, he's a very, very complicated guy, and he's had a lot of different, you know, issues himself. You know, a lot of people who are big Joe Budden fans remember the whole, you know, Tax Stone incident before Tax got locked up, you know, for the unaliving event at Gramercy. But, you know, like Joe Budden had gotten in trouble for apparently, you know, some domestic violence kind of issues and stuff like that, and just being weird. And then on top of that, even with his podcast network, like 2 different podcast hosts had quit because he had been saying some like uncomfortable stuff to them before. So this whole behavior of Joe Budden isn't new. And, you know, for those of you that do know what happened, I'll tell the others who don't. Joe Budden just yesterday, I believe, yesterday morning, like 7 a.m., was arrested for, oh, hold on. There's somebody says, Spider-Man 24 says, I don't know how this popped on my feed, but chill off Joe Budden. Hey, yo, fix your beard before talking about Joe. Hey, yo, honestly, respect to Joe Budden, but my beard is kind of nicer, bro. I don't want to be like that. It's not salt and pepper yet, but I'm like getting there, you know? And I think you need to throw a little bit of respect on my beard right now, man, because this shit is coming in crispy. Look at that. Look at that. Don't you dare hate on it. Okay? I'm glad I don't got a beard like Joe Budden, or else I'll be butt naked outside somebody's house right now. And I ain't with that. Okay? 7 a.m., this man knocking on the door, sweating out his angel dust, banging on the door. This shit is crazy. And it's especially crazy as somebody who like goes in on all these rappers and has recently been going in on Puff, as he should. But he has been going in on Puff, went in on Drake, as he should, because Drake has done some corny shit too, to be going through this. You feel me? Like, if you're going to be, like, if you're the type of nigga who shows up butt naked outside somebody's door, then you can't be commenting on how nobody acts, even if they are freaky, because you freaky too. Birds of a feather get naked and knock on apartment doors together, my nigga. Okay? And this shit is, it's a little crazy, man. It's a little crazy. And I'm kind of wondering, nobody really knows what's happening right now, because I know he hasn't really been on his podcast. I watch the podcast sporadically. So I know some of y'all are going to be coming in here, coming at me like, no, he was in this episode, that's the episode. I don't know. But, you know, I watch his show sporadically, but I know he wasn't on there for a couple episodes. And I don't know if that had to do with that or if he was just too busy, you know? I mean, he has fucking 10 other people on that shit. So it makes sense why he would want to take a little bit of time off. I even saw, too, I was watching a clip of Jamari. You should go check him out on YouTube. Great dude, kind of like a culture commentary guy. Not black culture, but just celebrity culture in general and like live streamers. Really funny, cool dude. He was on Danny Brown's podcast, actually, too. I don't even know the nigga. I just like his content. But, you know, like I saw in Jamari's thing that Joe was talking about this. So apparently he has addressed it. And he says he was sleepwalking. Which I don't necessarily know if I believe. Because usually sleepwalking is like in the dead of night. Like, you know, 4 a.m., 3 a.m. You know, this was like 7:30 in the morning. And don't get me wrong, I'm the type of guy, I mean, It's New Year's last night, and I went to bed at like 4 in the morning, and then I woke up around like 10:30. So maybe his REM sleep and systems are a little off. Who knows? Who knows? But I just don't buy that shit, bro. I don't buy that shit, especially when the nigga was a dust head for all that time and shit. It just seems strange. Plus, if you know you're like a sleepwalker, bro, you should definitely be like wearing boxers. You feel me? You should not be the type of guy who's sleeping commando. That just, Joseph, if you're watching this, there's not much advice I can give you because you're a millionaire and I'm not. But one piece of advice I will give you is if you are a sleepwalker, my man, if you are a sleepwalker, put on some boxers, dog. Put on some boxers. You know, because it's because this is me giving you the benefit of the doubt. This is me giving every Joe Budden fan and Joe Budden himself the benefit of the doubt of this man's behavior. But I don't believe it. If I'm being 100% with you, I don't believe that shit at all. I just don't. I don't know why. Maybe he was, tapping back into some drugs, and if so, prayers up for him. It is what it is. Life comes at you fast. You blink, you just might miss it. That's a Ferris Bueller quote that somehow relates to this. But I don't know, man. I don't know. And it's, what the worst part is? I hate when celebrities have these scandals because every time, people will talk to you, they'll be like, see, that's why, you can't be one of those fucking celebrity ass niggas, man. See, them celebrity ass niggas is weird, da da da. I said that I was working yesterday and the fucking engineer that I work with was saying the same shit. He's like, see, that's why you can't hang out with no rich people. You can't be rich, bro. You can't, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I fucking hate that shit. Number one, because I'm still trying to get put on, okay? So I'm not trying to be poor and have people think I'm freaky, all right? I'm really not trying to have that. Like, at least Joe Budden is freaky, but he has money. Like, right now, I'm poor, and people now, because Joe Budden and Diddy and fucking even the Hove shit and this person, that person, however you want to say it, Bill Cosby, niggas think, oh, you pursue your dreams, you must be freaky. And it's kind of messed up because it's just like, if you think about it, everybody knows somebody who has acted inappropriately. You know what I mean? Like you say that like, oh yeah, that's why you don't fucking become rich. That's why you don't become famous. But it's like, bro, your uncles do this shit. Your fucking weird friend who you've heard things about but still hang out with does that shit. And you don't fucking look at them for not having their life together and be like, oh, well, that's why you don't pay your rent. That's why you don't pay your rent on time and pay it 3 months late because, dudes who pay their rent late end up getting butt naked and standing outside of people's apartments. Like nobody says any of that shit. That's why you can't be late on your cell phone bill because, niggas who late on their cell phone bill always freaky. Like it's not, I don't know if I'm walking fast, but I'm out of goddamn breath. I'm glad I'm doing this walk though, because I was taking a shower today and I saw my body in the mirror, and I think I need a new one. Yeah, damn. I got this new desk job, so I don't walk anywhere. I don't do anything. If only replying to emails would burn calories, I don't know what I'm doing. So now I have to do this and talk to you guys. I do love it though. But Joe, I don't know what's going to happen to him. I really don't know what's going to happen. I mean, he has a fan base. Like, I'm even in here with my small following, and niggas is talking shit about me to Joe Budden. Niggas is, shitting on me, trying to save Joe Budden. So obviously he's going to be fine. But this is just another thing you tack on the freaky list. You feel me? This is one of those things that you just kind of, put down in the ledger. And okay, because the next time, bro, this nigga, I might start calling him Luke Cage because this man is bulletproof. He does anything, and it doesn't seem to matter. So I told you guys I'm going to Chinatown. We're in Chinatown right now. Partying out here. We're next to Seward Park High School. Shit is a vibe right now. People texting me and shit. I'm an editor, so some people are texting me about their content, like, yo, when's the next video coming out? It'll come when it comes out, bitch. You know, but great area out here. I'm meeting one of the homies at a Chinatown restaurant that I don't know if I want to share the name of yet. Because, hey, I don't gotta, my shit ain't huge, but 10 extra people coming there and gonna make it a little crowded, you feel me? But the best thing about Chinatown in New York City is that it's BYOB. Somebody tell me if they can, whenever, if like, in Chinatown and other cities, are the restaurants BYOB? Because I gotta say, that's like my favorite thing about this shit. Oh shit, is this? Wait, can you guys still hear me? Okay. For a second, I thought I lost my fucking my microphone. Oh my god, I must have been so muffled this whole time. There's like 14 people watching. I hope I was well heard. We're gonna walk in here. I'm gonna buy a little bit of wine. I love how I lost people once I started correcting my sound. Hi, where's your wine section? Wine section. Okay, it's the whole back. All right. Okay. All right. We're searching for wine in Chinatown. You got to be a little quiet in here. You can hear how peaceful everything is in this spot. Let's look. I don't know about you guys, but I enjoy cheap wine. I'm one of those people who is what they call not bougie. And I try to find whatever I can drink that is drinkable but will not kill me. This place actually has pretty good prices too, and I'm buying wine, but I told you I am hanging out with my male friend, me and the big dog, taking down some Cabernet. Isn't that fun? Let's see. That's good. I know it's cold out, but I like Chardonnay, You can tell I told you I got my new job. I got that money, baby. Let's do it. Let me pick this one. It's like there's a Netflix Love is Blind wine called Love is Wine. Fucking ridiculous. Hilarious. All right. I'm going to take this. This nice little Chardonnay. Fuck it. $12. Come out, man. Chinatown is one of the best places in the city. I fucking love it. The people are great. Thank you. Sorry for the camera.
I thought you want those.
Oh, yeah.
The wine cabinet.
Oh, no. It's okay. Let's see. Hold on. All right. Thank you, sir. Have a good day. All right. And we out, bitch. Yeah, man. New York City, that's the best thing. Listen, for all the guys out there, if you were in New York City, you're trying to go on a little date, I'm telling you, Chinaman, Jesus, I might get flagged for that. Chinatown is the best, man. It's great because there's so many like little hidden gems around here and just different people, like there's always like little bars and shit you can sneak into. And there's nothing better when you're going on like a first date or just getting acquainted with a nice young lady and you take her to some shit that she don't really know about. You know what I mean? You take her like, yo, don't worry. Like the type of shit you got to knock on the door 3 times, a little shit slide over here, you give them the password, you laugh, but there's some real shit like that. What exactly happened with Joe? We were talking about it, man. Joe, his freakiness knows no bounds, my friend. Joe Budden just yesterday was arrested for trying to break into his, neighbor's apartment, butt naked at 7:30 in the morning. So it's pretty crazy. Nobody really knows the full-on details. Apparently, he has addressed it already, saying that like He was sleepwalking. But even when Queen's Flip heard that shit, he was like, "That's what happened." Like, I don't think nobody believes that's what happened. I know I don't believe that's what happened. There's a lot going on with that dude. And I mean, listen, everybody has demons. I know he had a little bit of an addiction issue and stuff like that. So he's doing this thing, man. But I don't know. This type of stuff, man, like, is the type of shit that'll sink ships. We've seen it with Puff, especially. And we've seen it with so many other people, in the last few years. I'm going to sit down for a second. We've seen it with so many people in the last few years, bro. And, when you have all that emotion, you don't want to ruin it with, stupidity. And I think that's where Joe's at right now. I mean, who knows? Hopefully things go better for him in the new year. And, shit's not over. Like I said, everybody, yeah, nigga was arrested, but he gotta go. Yes. Yeah, I forgot about the dog stuff. Yeah, nigga. So, yo, this is why I love the chat. Yo, I forgot about the dog stuff, bro. So yeah, on top of the whole baby moms thing with Tax Stone and like, the DV stuff and everything, and the sexual harassment with like other, his other podcast hosts were on his network that quit like a couple years ago. He is also, I believe he disclosed that he used to how do I say this on YouTube? He used to pleasure his dog by hand, if you catch my drift. Homie used to really take care of his canine friend. Now, I've heard about animal lovers, but most of the people I know join a shelter. They don't take that term literally. Joe apparently takes it literally. And just despicable behavior. Just despicable. God damn. All right. Yeah. Joe, he's not going nowhere. He's not going nowhere. He's right now, he's number one, Joe is independent. So I don't believe he's dealing with anybody. No Spotify, no nothing. So, that's the beauty of being independent, is you can be all types of freaky. And if your fans still rock with you, they still rock with you. Just like Andrew Schultz, somebody who obviously has had some issues recently, and a bit of a checkered past in general, just talking shit about people and, especially when it comes to like black issues and everything. But Andrew Schultz is fine. Even after he said that stuff about Kendrick Lamar, his physical safety possibly could be in jeopardy depending on what he does or something like that. But as far as like losing money, he's not losing anything. Even if he gets demonetized from YouTube, he won't really lose that much. He can just switch over to Rumble, do his thing. Plus, he tours with stand-up comedy. Same thing with Joe Budden. Joe Budden doesn't have stand-up comedy, but he can start live streaming. He can diversify. The podcasting just in general, as far as like recordings and like the audio version, are still hitting. He still has the Patreon. There's really no reason why his shit wouldn't be lit. You feel me? I respect Joe getting his bag, but he built a whole fan base on being anti-industry and started acting mad corporate. Yes, he did. I mean, that's the thing, though. I mean, bro, like, I hate to say it's just business, but it is just business at the end of the day. When it comes to entertainment, these guys are selling a product, and he is completely, was very like anti-establishment. But, once you get that big, you become part of the establishment, whether you're taking money from them or not. You know what I mean? You got to think about it that way. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's like now he's the big dog. So it's not that he's really answering to them or anything, but they're forming collaborations, mutual collaborations, through money. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm a Drake fan and stuff. So, do what you want with that, what you will. And I'm still a Kendrick fan. But when it comes to this hip hop shit, there were a lot of different, what do they call it, platforms that were championing Kendrick, and same with Drake too. Like academics, I feel like probably gets paid by Drake. I wouldn't be surprised. But I feel like Joe was definitely getting paid by the labels for Kendrick as well too. And this is just what happens, when you become a guy who has millions and millions of listeners. Like Joe Rogan, again, same comparison, is the anti-industry, anti-establishment guy. But Joe Rogan deals with Netflix, which literally is the industry. So it's just all part of success. But I feel you, man. I wish a lot of these people that I admire could stay in that like sweet spot. You feel me? That like little sweet spot of like being successful, having mad money, doing what you want, but still being anti-industry and not being a full part of it. But usually that doesn't happen because people like nice shit. And they want to, buy some Ace of Spade for the thoughts, and that shit is not cheap. It is not cheap at all, man. Yeah, it's getting cold out here. We got a homie doing a little jig. I'm out here waiting for the homie, man. One of my boys out here is supposed to be meeting me for this shit. We had a Wu Wonton King. Come check that shit out, man. I said I wasn't gonna say nothing, but it seems easier said than done. I can't hate. Exactly. Like it's like I want to hate a lot when it comes to that type of shit, but at the same time, it's like if I was in that position, I can't say that I wouldn't do any of that stuff. I mean, it's also a little different for me because I do stand-up comedy. So like Andrew Schultz, I can generate like once this YouTube stuff takes off, then people just want to see me in general. So I'll have a totally different revenue stream. Therefore, I won't maybe have to be as like in with the industry because I can make money on the road doing stand-up and I still make my money on YouTube. So I won't always need to do something with Spotify or something. I mean, this is all hypothetical, but also manifestation. But yeah, someone like Joe, his only revenue stream as far as media is the podcast. So he has to monetize that as much as he can. I mean, nowadays people are talking all this shit about, gambling and, all these different celebrities trying to get people to stop gambling and shit like that. But it's like, well, these dudes, these places like Stake and everything, Prize Picks and all that shit, they're paying out majorly to these podcasters, to these rappers, Drake especially, right? To people like Aiden Ross and shit. And it's hard to say no to that kind of money, even when you have money, which is why I respect people who do say no to money. Because it's like, damn, my broke ass, I don't know if I would. Yeah, Schultz really does do stand-up, man. He does really do stand-up. Listen, I don't really like Andrew Schultz. And, like, when it came to the whole Kendrick Lamar bullshit, bruh, like, I'm kind of happy that Schultz is getting a lot of shit because I had called it. A couple months ago, I was doing my my podcast with one of my boys, Learning Things, which is on delay right now. But you can check it out. We have our own YouTube channel and stuff. And I even think the clip is up here on my YouTube channel as well. But I was just talking shit about Andrew Schultz and just saying, like, I don't really like him much as a stand-up comedian. And I don't really like his podcast. I was saying that I feel like Andrew Schultz, like, he got hooked up by Charlemagne. So I think some people think he is, like, cool in the culture. But to me, he's not at all. And, like, he's not cool in the culture and he doesn't really like black people. Like, his fan base is really just, like, white dudes who like black shit but don't like black people. And that shit rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Like, I barely do TikTok. I put that shit on TikTok, bro. That shit went viral. I got 500,000 fucking views off that shit. Everybody screaming at me. Some people agreeing. But tons and tons of people screaming at me saying I'm wrong and I'm black. I like Andrew and blah, blah, blah. And, bro, you're so, you're soft. And I thought you were a comedian, nigga. Fuck you. Blah, blah, blah. Like, really riding for this guy. Then, of course, once the whole Kendrick shit comes out, right, and he starts talking about Kendrick saying he wants to do all sorts of weird ass shit, that's when everybody's like, oh, like Andrew Schultz, he needs to stop, blah, 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 blah. The same type of people that were calling me out this whole time are now like, cop and please now. And it's just, it is what it is. And again, Andrew Schultz is fine. He's gonna be fine. He's never gonna have to pay the price for that shit. You know, he is the soldier boy of comedy. Nah, he is. He is. Because he's somebody who gives you some shit that's palatable, but at the same time, it's just not that good. And I don't know, man. Like, I do think he's funny. As a comedian myself and somebody who isn't as successful as he is, I can clearly admit that he's good at what he does. But I think he just has a very, very specific fan base for what he does, man. And as far as Andrew Schultz starting everything with Kendrick, I think that was more of a Kendrick thing. I mean, he kind of did start it just because he was talking about black women, which he shouldn't have really been doing. But it's a weird thing, man. Comedians and comedy is just kind of weird because, like, as a comic, I do believe that people should be able to essentially say whatever you want, but also too, people do have the right to call you out on it, you know. But I'm glad the whole little beef or whatever the fuck you want to call it between him and Kendrick kind of ended, because I'm not gonna lie, if it kept on persisting, Kendrick was gonna be taking some lumps comedically. You know, I mean, if I'm being 100% real, uh, just because, and it's not even because, like, Andrew Schultz is that nice. He's not. He's kind of a clown. But comedy versus rapper is never good, because with hip hop, you suspend disbelief of these people. You're hearing their voice, you're imagining yourself within them, and all that shit, and relating to them. And comedy is more about like telling truths and shit. So when a comedian starts going at a rapper, like, really, they kind of break them down for what they really are. And that's kind of what you saw happen with the whole, like, try him saying that he would violate Kendrick. That's obviously people took it crazy and everything, which I think they should. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, man, if it kept on going, I'm telling you, Andrew Schultz, I'm not saying he would have won in the sense of like everybody loving him and, Kendrick Lamar looking crazy, but he would have made Kendrick Lamar look very crazy, unfortunately. So I'm glad that ended, because somebody as corny as Andrew Schultz should not be the one who takes on a superior artist like Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, he does think he invented crowd work and YouTube specials and clips. He does. He's one of those dudes who just feels himself, man. It is what it is. And, I'm here talking shit, but listen, I have 9 people watching me on live right now. If he went live, he'd probably have like 5,000. So it is what it is. I have respect for his like business and what he's done with comedy. Because listen, like, at the end of the day, bro, like, if you're on some innovative shit, you're on some innovative shit. And that's kind of what he did. He really like helped usher in that YouTube era of just being like, yeah, I'm just going to put the special out on YouTube. It's going to pop. And that just is what it is. And now I get to make my own rules. And for that, as a comedian, that's some real shit, bro. Like, it's true, even if I hate to admit it, but it's true. And, shout out to Akash, because, I don't know Andrew very well, but I have met Akash a couple times, and he's always been a real good dude. And I'm sure the other dudes are good too. But yeah, I don't really fuck with Schultz like that. You redacted the message, dog? Come on now. Don't be scared. He ain't gonna see this shit. I think he saw my clip though, talking shit about him that went viral. I definitely think he saw that. Turn your that turn your phone segment was cool. Yeah. Wait, turn your phone. I don't think I've seen that shit. But he has a lot of shit out there, man. He's doing his thing. Shout out to him, and shout out to any comic putting themselves out there. And shout out to all the rappers putting themselves out there. I'm actually going to head inside right now because I'm hungry. The homie said he's coming through. So I just wanted to get live and talk about Joe Budden's Freakiness. I'm glad you guys came out to see me. I appreciate the love, dog. And I guess I'll see you guys later. And please, when you're walking down a dark alley and you see a bald head with a salt and pepper beard, stay away, my nigga. Stay away. Peace out, dude. And yes, that rapid fire current event shit. Yes, I do remember that. That was dope. I'll see you later, guys. Peace.